Good evening, everyone. Welcome to your latest Wolves Fancast match preview. I'm your host, Little Dan. With me on tonight's episode, I've got with me one of the current participants of Channel 4's Married at First Sight. If you're not watching it, get yourself on it. I've been watching it for years, even the Australian version. I love that sort of. I hope Jordan doesn't take offense, but that sort of trash reality TV. It is. I like seeing proper like people like trying to maneuver their way through life, and when you're throwing a romantic edge to it, it is car crash telly at times, but you do get the good wholesome relationship that comes at the end of the series. So how are you, Jordan?
Yeah, I'm good. And hey, listen, I don't take offense to that. Before I went on the show, it was Sky Sports Football, Sky Sports Premier League, Sky Sports Main Event on my TV. Never watched any of this nonsense, I should say. But I found myself in it, so yeah, we'll go with it.
That's it. It's like I said, it's car crash telly to a degree, but
Yeah.
I enjoy it. And it won't be everyone's cup of tea. Like you say, it's usually Sky Sports News, or it used to be flipping like MTV Base back in the day for me. What's your current sort of TV preference, Reepa? Hold on. Sorry, my friend. I've just
I'm mute.
What's your TV preference, my friend?
I'm not much of a day-to-day TV watcher. I'm more watch series. I'm watching Gen V at the moment. Watching Loki. I'm a bit of a fantasy nerd, you know what I'm saying? A bit of a Marvel nerd. So Loki, Gen V. What else has just come out? Invincible's just started, a bit of anime and stuff like that. But when it comes to like I call it ITVB TV, trash TV, as you said. You get me? Sometimes I like it when it's kicking off and stuff like that. You know, if you see a fight, like my missus is watching it, I'll be like, oh, who's that? What's going on there? You know what I'm saying? So I'll have a look. But apart from that, yeah, man, I'm more into my Marvel and stuff like that, man.
Yeah, as I said, it isn't for everyone, but I know it is for most people tuning in tonight, and it's talking about Wolves. And obviously, this weekend we're going to be coming up against Jordan's football team, Sheffield United. The weekend's fixtures pretty much are there on the left. Fulham start the weekend home to Man United at 12:30. The 3 p.m. fixtures: Brentford versus West Ham, Burnley versus Palace, Everton versus Brighton. Man City, probably this weekend's banker at home to Bournemouth. Sheffield United versus Wolves is the 3 o'clock. And Newcastle versus Arsenal is the 5:30 fixture on television on Saturday. Looking at the rest of those fixtures there, Forest Villa, Luton at home to Liverpool, Reepa, and Spurs versus Chelsea. Without sort of looking at Man City at home to Bournemouth, where would your money be for this weekend's easy win?
They're all sort of like, you know, if you put in an acca on, you stay away from most of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of them ones, man. Spurs, Chelsea's difficult. Villa, Forest. I'd say Villa. And then you've got Brighton, Everton. Yeah, Brighton.
Yeah, Brighton have been one of the better teams. They've been a little bit off key recently. Jordan, looking at those fixtures there, where's your money this weekend for a banker?
Oh, I'd have to
you
go.
You were saying to me Wolves, weren't you, off air before we came on? But who is your actual banker for the weekend?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm not gonna stick it on my own club and say Wolves, even though I do fear for us at the moment. I would say the banker, other than the two we've mentioned, is probably Luton Liverpool. Obviously, you'd expect Jurgen Klopp's men to turn up to Kenilworth Road and get the 3 points there, but maybe that's wishful thinking as well, because you know we just need the 4 teams or the 3 teams around us, Bournemouth, Luton, and Burnley, to keep losing as well, because as bad a start we've had, we are, believe it or not, only 5 points off safety. So maybe that's a bit of wishful thinking as well. So
you could be a lot closer to safety if Everton get that point deduction that everyone wants them to get. Just trying to see if I've got the league table here to hand. I don't think. Oh yeah, we got.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
Yeah, sorry, it's not good reading for yourself, Jordan. At the moment, Sheffield United, literally, Paul Hecking, bottom of the league, literally, aren't you at the moment? Played 10, 1 point. I did look at your injury list, obviously doing the research for this show tonight, and you have got a lot of players missing, key players. Obviously lost quite a few key players in the summer as well. Sanderberg, even Tommy Dore, who was key in your promotion last season. How big has Tommy Dore been a miss for you this season?
Yeah, I mean, Tommy Dore was like a key, like, and fundamental part to our promotion team. Like, he was one of the first names on the team sheet. But you mentioned Sander Berg there. Like, I think our club, and I don't know why, we must be the only club to go up into the Premier League, and the owners struggled to sell, and the owners don't really want to be there, and it's just a mess. You know, selling Sander Berg, who's one of our key players, to Burnley on the opening week of the season, for me, just doesn't make any sense. I don't know what's going on there, but Paul Heckingbottom, he's almost. Honestly, I love Paul Heckingbottom. He's got my like full support, which I'm sure he's happy to know. But like he's working with like his hands tied behind his back. Like it's almost like Mission Impossible for him. But yeah, Tommy Doyle, with a lot of players, including Sander Berg, was key. Which is why we was picking up so many wins. And our style of play, we lost that. We lost our identity. What got us all those wins and that promotion. So now it's just almost like trying to find that new identity. But as a promoted side into the Premier League, you need to have an identity because that's what got you promoted. That's what you got the wins, and it's just that's why we've struggled so much. We've had to like almost reinvent ourselves.
Yeah, Burnley and Sheffield United pretty much, I would say, coasted to promotion last year, but there wasn't really much of a trouble in the end. And like you said, losing Sanderberg to Burnley, one of your sort of rivals coming up from the Championship last season, is a massive blow. There is players like John Egan and Chris Basham who are massive blows for you as well at the back.
Yeah, same with we sold Iliman and Jai as well to Marseille, who was like literally ripping the Championship apart, and and we sold those two in the opening week of the season, and they were our two best players last year, along with like Tommy Doyle and stuff. And so yeah, like our squad's been ripped apart, and this injury list to everyone else, to like fans of like Wolves, it looks ridiculous, but we've had an injury list this long probably for like 2 years, 3 years consecutively. We had problems with our training pitches, and I don't know if like I studied strength conditioning as a degree, so I know how important it is to get everything right. Otherwise, people look at an injury list and go, "Well, that's unlucky." But if your injury list is always looking that long, then there's something fundamentally wrong at the football club. And I don't know if it's their training program or their pitches, because we've had our training pitches relayed. There's something not right. Um, I don't know if you saw the freak injury of Basham when we was away at Fulham.
Horrific.
Yeah, there's injuries like that, and they look unlucky. They look like it always a bit unlucky, but for me, the amount of injuries we're getting, like muscle injuries, and it's it's just there's something not right, and yeah, it's frustrating. But
Yeah, it is massively frustrating. What is really frustrating, Reepa, is the fact that after Saturday's game against Newcastle, losing Pedro Neto to what could be a possible severe hamstring injury. Them saying a couple of weeks. Luckily, we've got the international break coming up. But how impressive you've been with Pedro Neto, and how much of a blow is he going to be losing him this weekend?
He's been quality, man, top tier. The numbers he's putting up, you know what I'm saying? The interest from other teams you've seen. I think obviously we saw like flashes of it towards the end of last season. Everyone was doubting him. Started the season. And always had troubles and stuff like that. But towards the end of last season, like he started to show. And then obviously with like the change about he's sort of stepped up, you know what I'm saying? Lost Neves. He's sort of stepped up and said, you know what, I'm the guy now. And he's took that sort of, like he's took it on his shoulders, hasn't he? He's been the main guy on the wing, man. I can't see, there's not much more threatening in the league right now on the wing. Apart from obviously your top teams and stuff like that, your Darkus and stuff like that. But he's a full-on threat, man. And you can see why obviously there's rumours going about and stuff like that. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't wish him to go or anything like that, but he's key to us at the moment, so he's needed, man. But like you said, international break's coming up, so that's a bit of a relief. And then obviously, like if we bolster up the squad in January and whatnot as well, should be all right. But he's key, man. He's top dog at the moment. Top dog.
Absolutely heartbreaking groan that roared around Molineux when we were 4-on-3 against Newcastle on Saturday, and you see Pedro Neto pull up. You've talked about your strength and conditioning background, Jordan. He ended up getting stretchered off last week. Apparently, he was able to do a bit of walking around the dressing room after the game, so it doesn't sound like it's going to be a really long-term injury. But what do you reckon to sort of Pedro Neto? What have you thought of him this season, and how would you reckon on sort of hamstring strains?
Well, I was going to say, like, obviously hamstring injuries in football are so like prevalent, and especially Pedro Neto, everyone knows his pace is like one of his biggest assets. And like even if it's just a niggle in the hamstrings are so important for that sprint and that acceleration. So even if it's a niggle, like he might not be out for too long, but how long is it going to stop him performing the way he has this season? Because again, he needs that freedom to know that he can just accelerate and sprint without that fear of pulling it or making it worse again. So, but yeah, Pedro Neto's he is amazing. And at a club like Wolves, it's almost a shame that when someone's performing this well, there is those rumours that come about, like the likes of either Liverpool or someone comes sniffing around and would like to sign a player like that. But yeah, he's been amazing for Wolves.
Yeah, that was the concern you mentioned there, Jordan, about transfer rumours. He's been linked heavily to Arsenal the last 2 or 3 seasons. They've been linked again recently. Obviously, his injury record is going to sort of hamper a massive desire for them to jump in January. Wolves are going to want good money for him if that is going to be sort of looked at by opposition clubs, because, like you said, he is massively key to us. It's not just, you know, I heard Matt Murray, former Wolves goalkeeper, the other day mention sort of 70 to 80 million pound for Pedro Neto, which is probably sort of the money you'd want. But that could be the difference between Wolves staying up and getting relegated, losing a massive player like that. What you got to say about that, Reepa? I can hear you talking there.
I think like you can't be like personally, you can't be mad at the rumours. Like I think if you're a diehard Wolves fan, you're gonna be, but at the same time, like the quality has been showing. Like for a young lad, 23, isn't he? 23.
He's still got plenty of good years ahead of him.
Plenty of good years, exactly. So he's going to be looking now, thinking, I can play Champions League football. I can get into a Champions League side. I can be the main man on that wing in an Arsenal, in a Liverpool, because it's needed at the moment. So he's going to be looking at that. So I wouldn't be mad, and I'd love to see him playing Champions League. But on the contrary, it would be devastating. Well, I wouldn't say devastating. It would be a big blow, though. Like, who would you get to replace him? You'd have to find a like for like replacement. And yeah, it would just be devastating blow. It'd be difficult. It'd be really difficult. But yeah, it's a catch-22 in it. You know what I'm saying? You want the best for a young lad. He's 23. Go forth and venture. Go and play Champions League football. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? I think he said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna stay." But these things change. You know what I'm saying? People wake up and change moods. An agent or an offer can change the mood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, obviously he has got the Jorge Mendes agency that he works on behalf of. It's going to be a big situation. But you talked about it there, when players are playing well, they do get the transfer rumours, and like you can see on the picture there, he has been nominated for the October 2023 Player of the Month against Douglas Luiz, Patrick Mbeumo, Christian Romero, Declan Rice, and obviously it'd be a surprise if Mohamed Salah wasn't nominated, because he is literally probably one of the best wings that the Premier League has seen in regards to Mo Salah. Is up there with sort of the likes of Thierry Henry for the amount of numbers that he puts up. One of the other nominations this month was Hwang Hee-chan getting a nomination for October Goal of the Month after his lovely chop inside and slot past Nick Pope on Saturday in the 2-2 draw against Newcastle. Other sort of numbers that are coming up, it's not a great number that you want to see, Jordan, but Wes Foderingham, most saves in the Premier League with 50 inside the first 10 games. It's good that he's made 50 saves, but that it shows you are weak defensively.
Yeah, and do you know what's frustrating is that we have been in a lot of games this season. Like, we was 1-0 up away at Spurs in up until the 97th minute, believe it or not, we were winning. Against Man United, we were the better side in the first half, and there's been so many games where we've been in the game. But then if you actually look at the stats of like expected goals, we're the lowest in the league. Another stat there, 50 saves is the most. So, sometimes when you've only got 1 point, and sometimes managers can say, well, we should be picking up more. We've been in games, but there's been a lot of games where we've almost accepted like a 1-0 or a 2-0. And Foderingham saved us from it being like a 5-0 like it was against Arsenal, and obviously the 8-0 against Newcastle. He has kept those score lines respectable on a few games as well. So
yeah, that 8-0 was massively damaging, wasn't it? I think I read a stat the other day. This is like the worst start to a Premier League campaign since you came up in, was it the second season under Chris Wilder?
Chris Wilder. Yeah, that's what's frustrating, is that but that was like a COVID season, and like I know that when the grounds were empty, with the fans not being there at Bramall Lane, like I don't know if you've been to Bramall Lane, but it is a very compact, tight stadium, and the fans really do help. So when we lost all the fans, we could kind of put like almost like make that as like a reason. This is probably why we're not doing well. But even that 8-0 and Bramall Lane was packed, and I think it was 3-0 at half time. To be fair, the fans kept at it up until like 5-0, 6-0, and then it started to empty out. But yeah, it was demoralising. Like, to be fair, the fans never booed once. We never got like made it a hostile place towards the manager or our own players. But I think that's because we know the situation we're in. It was poor business in August and July, and we've not really given ourselves a chance. And it's almost, as sad as it sounds, I'm almost becoming happy with a 1-0 loss or a 2-0 loss, because when you experience an 8-0 loss like you did at Newcastle, you don't want to experience that again. That was hard to watch.
Yeah, it was really damaging. I think it's not the fact that you get beat by a better side; it's just sort of the lack of energy and fight that was shown in the second half, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. No, it's almost like it was almost like we've accepted that we're nowhere near this level, and it was like it shows an energy. It's almost like they're demoralized and they stop running about, and it's almost like a lack of belief and that they don't feel like they deserve to be on the pitch. Um, it is a shame because the we was a good team, and I think that it's the confidence is just gone, and I think that we don't believe that we deserve to be in the Premier League right now, and it's I think it does look like lack of energy, but I just think that the players, I think that the kind of man Heckingbottom is, I don't think the players will ever give up on it. I think he'll always have the dressing room, but I think it's belief, not fight. I think it's belief, and I think that looks like it's lack of energy.
Yeah, all it takes is one win. Obviously, Wolves got knocked out by Ipswich in the League Cup. We drew 1-1 away at Luton, and things looked really dire. And then we somehow managed to pull out the performance of the season at home to Man City. And to be fair, Man City fans might disagree, but I thought Wolves were sort of well and truly deserving of that win on that day. We had a
Yeah,
really good game plan. We executed it well. The majority of Man City's chances were either like sort of outside the box or were well blocked. I think sort of Craig Dawson cleared one off the line, but I don't think Jose Sa really had a tough game compared to some of the games that he's had this season, Reepa. You look at that league table, Wolves currently in 12th, 5 points behind Newcastle in 6th. There's still, for me, obviously the objective is to stay up, but
Yeah, definitely.
top 10 finish should
You
be
know, it's not off the
feasible.
cards, man. It's not off the cards. It's not off the cards. Like you said, in contrast to last season, sort of like a dire start, and you know what I'm saying, it was hard times, it was tough times. You know what I'm saying, the fan base turned, and everything was just everywhere. And then obviously considering the start we've had this season, the quick changeover in management, not knowing if we're going to get players in, then all of a sudden a big influx of players. It's been promising, and it's still looking promising, and it's looking even more promising. I think initially when Gary O'Neill come in, there wasn't a lot of confidence, you know what I'm saying? But I think I tweeted it, man. Let Gary cook, man. You know what I'm saying? And he's cooking. He's cooking big time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the proof's in the pudding, because he's, like you said, the Man City match. He come out after the press conference and he showed you his tactics, broke it down, the analysis. So it's not a fluke. He's doing what he meant. He's doing what he said. Give him time. He's a young manager who's hungry. It's an underdog story. Wolves are underdogs. Gary O'Neill's an underdog, so it's a lovely underdog story, and it could be a beautiful underdog story. Top 10 finish, Europa League finish. You never know. That's obviously that's a bit of a dream, but you know what I'm saying. You never know. It can happen.
Wolves 3 points behind Man United on
Exactly, man.
15 points, and to be fair, they robbed us of 3 points the first game of the season, didn't they?
Yeah.
But you look at that sort of top two there at the moment, Spurs and Arsenal. Do you think Spurs can go all the way,
I
Reaper,
don't
or
know.
not?
You know, I don't know. It's crazy, isn't it? The Spurs situation, because Kane's
They've
gone.
got momentum. They've got no Champions League. They've got
It's,
no distractions. They can
that's the
fully
thing. That's
commit
the
to this
thing.
league, and they seem to be playing with a
That's the
lot of
thing, isn't it?
cohesion at the moment.
It's like Kane's gone, like that was their guy, but then it's like, was he the key to was him going the key to sort of unlocking team football instead of them being, because let's get it right, Premier League's like it's not like it's not like La Liga where you can have Messi on one team, Ronaldo on one team. They're your main guys. Premier League, you need the whole team. Can't be a one guy team in the Premier League. So with Kane at Tottenham, he was sort of their go-to guy, the main guy. They relied on him, but now he's gone. The whole team's playing, the whole team's involved, and like you said, no Champions League. They could fully put their all into this and go, but have they got the minerals? You know what I'm saying? You don't want City chasing you. Arsenal, City and Arsenal in it. You know what I'm saying? You don't want those teams chasing you. So it'd be interesting to see how Spurs get on, and if they maintain it. To be fair, we'll see.
Based on the first 10 games, Jordan, who would be sort of your top four come the end of the season from what you've seen so far?
I mean, I think after City did the treble, I just thought they would like kick on, because that pressure of winning the Champions League is gone, and I thought that was like weighing heavy on them in the end. So I think that Spurs are looking amazing as well. But obviously, you got to have City in there, and like you said, Spurs without any like European football, and again, like almost like they had no expectations this season. They lost Kane. They've tried everything. They tried the Mourinho's, the Contes, and And it was almost like this season, it was like after losing Kane, they thought it's almost like they're playing with some sort of freedom, and they're playing the kind of football that Spurs fans crave, and they're enjoying it, and that's almost a dangerous side, isn't it? When they're enjoying the football and they're just having fun, pressure's off. So I think Spurs will get top four, and I think Arsenal, what Mikel Arteta's done at Arsenal, they've got a real identity, and you can see what he's building there. So I'd say Arsenal as well as so Arsenal, Spurs, City, and then I think Liverpool are back now with Jurgen Klopp. They felt they do fall away for the odd season, but I do think with I can't rule out Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool even to win the league. Like they look dangerous. They look like they can outscore teams, and so I'd have them in my top four as well.
It's literally there. You can't look past Liverpool strike force, can you?
No.
Salah, Jota, Gakpo, Nunes, Luis Diaz. It's an absolutely ridiculous strike force. Like I said, if you can get 3 of those in form, they will be properly in the title race. Arsenal, I still sort of don't give Arsenal the credit that they probably deserve because they pushed Man City really hard last season. I think that's going to give them an extra sort of motivation to go again this season. It's just whether they can cope with the Champions League running and the Premier League campaign, because I still think they are a little bit weak in depth. I think it's shown with Gabriel Jesus being injured. Obviously, Eddie Nketiah got a hat-trick last weekend, but you're not relying on Eddie Nketiah to be your number 9 in the title race, are you, Reepa?
Nah, not really, man. It's one of those ones, man. Arsenal, it's if like you're scared if they get it right because they're a bit like they're not hit and miss, but the second best. The second best, you first loser, aren't you? That's what they say. But if they ever get a sniff or they just fully something switches and they get a sniff of that or they win it once, I think it's over because, like you said, Arteta, what he's built there, it's quality. The team he's got, the unit he's got, the players he's got, the system he's got. Like, you know what I'm saying, bringing the dog in the team photos, the little things like that. You know, he's just wacky. He's from the school of Pep as well. So it'd be interesting to see if they can sort of get themselves on top and maintain, because like you said, they always slip up around Christmas time or towards the back after the New Year. They always slip up and let City overtake them. But yeah, man, it'd be interesting to see. Like, and you sort of, I don't know, they're talking about. It's just City. It's City, isn't it? City's like it's kryptonite for everybody, and like when City's around you, you just. It's not that you expect to lose, but it's like you can't relax and you can't be like we're comfortable here, we're safe here.
That's why it's so difficult to win the Champions League, because anyone can literally beat anyone on any given day. But literally, like you said, over a 38-game season, it's hard to look past Man City. There's been talks in the social media recently that Erling Haaland isn't really hitting form yet. He's still top goal scorer with 11 goals after 10 games. they are clearly missing Kevin De Bruyne, but you look at the players that have come in. I think Jeremy Doku has really took to the Premier League really well this season. He was probably Man City's main threat against us when we won 2-1. Obviously losing Rodri for 3 games, I think, is one of the reasons why they're not top of the league. So I think they were top of the league before he got sent off against Man City. Look at some of those players there. Jordan, Erling Haaland, 11 goals. Pedro Neto, top of the assists with 7. Saliba, most clean sheets with Arsenal. You're looking at Matheus Cunha. What have you meant to him since he's joined Wolves? Do you know much of the guy? You've been impressed. He's very good at ball carrying. As you can see, they're the most dribbles completed in the Premier League. Last season, Harry Kane was the best dribbler.
Yeah, I mean, I remember
that's a joke for people who don't realise, because he dribbles, doesn't he, a lot when he talks.
So when I watched the Wolves game at Old Trafford, and I remember he was picking the ball up. I think it was his last 10, 15, 20 minutes, and he'd pick the ball up really deep in his own half, and he'd carry it, and he'd carry the team out their own half just by dribbling with the ball. And I hadn't seen much of him until that game, obviously, and I was really impressed. He carries the ball so well, and it's it's an outlet, isn't it? And for someone to carry the ball that well, I think it's such a good asset because he attracts players to the ball, and then it frees up the likes of Pedro Neto and for that space. And I was really impressed by him. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were going to mention him then. I think he was just on the tip of your tongue. But one of the players who is really in form for Wolves at the moment is Hee-Chan Hwang. We've been calling it literally Hwangamania on our social media, because literally he has been running wild for us this season. You look at the top goal scorer chart there. He's already matched our top goal scorer for the last 5 seasons previous to this. I'd say a week we've been in the attacking side. He's already on 6. 49 points in the last however many games in the Fantasy Premier League. He is still a good differential for people out there. If you need a cheap midfielder, he'll be one of the players that you'll be needing to sort of stop on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, as well, like, I think since that Raul Jimenez injury, you've struggled to find that goal scorer for a few years now, like you said. So, especially for a midfielder, like chipping in with the goals, like, yeah, and I think especially on Saturday tomorrow, I think that we'll probably be defending quite deep, and I think that I don't know if like the likes of Pedro Neto will have that space. Sorry, he's injured anyway. But sorry, like players like Wolves, quite a counter-attacking side. I don't know if they'll have that space because we sit quite deep anyway. So like when someone's scoring goals like that and they've got that confidence, a shot from outside the box or that just belief that they're gonna score is really important, and it might be a 1-0 tomorrow. And I think he could pop up with a goal again.
Gary O'Neill had his pre-match press conference today. Obviously, Pedro Neto is out for a few weeks. They haven't put an actual a timeline on how long that'll actually be. We'll obviously look at that after the international break. Jean-Victor Bellegarde is expected to be in the squad, whereas Ben Dinnery did mention that Bellegarde may not be in the squad. There's a bit of confusion over that one. Hugo Bueno and Joe Hodge still out. And Gary O'Neill did mention that there's been no apology received from the PGMOL in regards to the penalty decision that went against Newcastle. What was your thoughts on that penalty decision last week, Reepa?
It's horrific, man. Looked back at it a few times, and I can imagine it is a difficult one to call, but you've got to go and look at it, haven't you, if you feel like it's difficult, because obviously, like you said, Swang was in it, he pulled back, didn't commit, didn't go through. It was a bit more of a slip, and also it's you got to give a yellow card for the dive, man. It's a straight dive. Like he's gone down looking for it. It's the manner in which you go down for me. If you go down and there's a bit of contact and you don't go down as horrific, then you can see it's a clear penalty. But the manner in which he went down, you'd think he got shot. You know what I'm saying, from the South Bank or something. Like it's no good, man. And you can see the reason why. Obviously, there's been uproar. Obviously, the following weeks, where obviously decisions against Wolves, it's been a bit of it's been a bit of it's been a bit of just nonsense, really. So yeah, I think like Gary O'Neill said, man, you got to be careful, man, because he said earlier, didn't he, man, you can end up in the Championship, innit, if you're refereeing against Wolves, man. So
that's the
refs are getting relegated now, innit, man.
That's the sort of what unfolds recently. You referee a Wolves game, you make a big decision wrong, you end up getting demoted. Anthony Taylor was a World Cup referee, and he's refereeing Preston this weekend. Obviously, this is the reason why we like to bring on opposition fans to our Wolves Fancast show. Jordan, what did you make to the penalty decision against Wolves last week? Did you see it?
I didn't see it, no, but I mean, I've heard about it. I didn't see the highlights, but for me, the VAR, like, don't even get me started on it, because the problem is that with VAR, people think that it's going to clear up like human error, but it's humans that are operating VAR. So it's never, unless, for me, there needs to be an upscale in the actual quality of the referees who have either played the game or understand the game, because it's like a lack of understanding, and that's why they'll never get these decisions right. Like the penalty decision at Old Trafford earlier in the season, I saw that, and it was shocking. And like, for example, the decisions, the worst ones this season, like Liverpool at Tottenham, like the offside. I don't understand how VAR can get an offside wrong. And it's just like the people making these decisions, they either can't handle the pressure or they're just getting it all wrong. And the amount of frustrating decisions that you see week in, week out, like, that's why I've not seen it. Like, sometimes I hear about VAR decisions, and at first I was confused, but now you just come to expect it. It's not sorting it out at all.
I literally hate to put myself in the middle-aged category, but when you're asking referees to be subjective with the rules, who have got egos, and then you're asking them to use technology and computers, which they're probably not used to using because they've spent the majority of their lives running around with a whistle in the mouth. It's got this sort of the ammo for all these mistakes to go wrong. I think VAR could literally be the best tool that's been invented for football, and they're just using it completely wrong. They're not using it in the right instances. And like you said, the talks of sort of clear and obvious error. There's so many clear and obvious errors that go wrong. If it takes you more than sort of 5 seconds to watch a replay back, and you can't make a quick decision, then it's obviously not clear and obvious, is it?
Yeah,
like I say, it's massively frustrating.
Yeah, well, that's it. I don't think VAR is the problem. I actually thought when they brought VAR in, that is good. It's the people running it. And like you said, maybe they should have a time limit or something. I know there's so many like millions of suggestions out there of what they should do, but like you said, if it's taking a certain amount of time to make a decision, then it's not clear and obvious. Clear and obvious decision, few seconds done, and that's one of the biggest hates about VAR, isn't it? Is that it takes so long. So.
Especially when you're inside stadiums, yeah. Especially like you got no replays on the screen. There's no sort of like in rugby where you can hear like the umpires, referees talking about the decision. What are you saying there, Reepa?
They need to bring that in, man, because like you say, it's taking the fan perspective out of the game. Like for the viewers at home, obviously I think you get the replay straight away. But like when you're in the stadium, like you need to get the fans involved because they're in the match. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones who paid the money. So it's like you don't know what's going on, and it's sort of it's took the tempo out of the game completely. But obviously we're going towards non-contact as well. You can go down that road, but then it's like also like what's going to happen? Like, is it going to become like American football or rugby where it's stop, start, stop, start, stop, start? It becomes a game of tactics and stuff like that because, yeah, man, it's like, what are you going to do? Like, what's going on?
I've mentioned obviously the team news there from Wolves and Gary O'Neill. Jordan, is there anything sort of new that you're aware of in regards to Sheffield United for the weekend? I mentioned earlier the injury list that you guys have got is lengthy.
No, I mean I think we're limited in what we can select. I think our starting 11 is pretty much what you predicted, and I think it's quite obvious. So our bench is quite weak at the moment due to all the injuries. What I would say though is the starting 11. Like we normally play with a back five, and that's been the basis of our success. But what he does do, we have got like the likes of Hamer and McAtee who are really good and have got that quality to carry the ball and to pick out a pass. And to be fair, Hamer's been scoring a few long distance goals as well. So to be fair, like I think it makes us better going forward. But the problem is we are so with a back four because we just hardly ever play with that formation. We are very vulnerable at the back. So I don't know. We're looking at Wolves at home and we're looking at that. That's a game where we would like to take points, but again, like I just think that I think we'll again Neto being out helps us, but I do think that I'm not expecting I'm not confident about tomorrow. I'll put it that way, but I think it'll be a close game, but I do expect Wolves to edge it. But we're very limited what we can do. I think, yeah, I do. I'm worried at the moment for United.
We've obviously mentioned numerous times now, Reepa, that Pedro Neto is definitely not going to be even in the squad tomorrow. We've gone for John Rigner Bellegarde starting on the right wing tomorrow, but who would take Pedro's place for you?
I think him, man. I think with the system that we've currently been playing, like I think obviously not you're reliant on Neto, but he's been your main guy, so balls are going to go out to him. But I feel like it's probably a chance for Bellegarde to come in and us to play. Like this could be a confidence boost match. You know what I'm saying? Like Jordan said, it could be a close match, but on the contrary, it could be like a Wolves 3-0. You know what I'm saying? A chance for Wolves to go out there, score some goals, install some confidence. Could be a big chance. You're playing against bottom of the league. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not going to say that in the change room or anything like that, but you're going to say go out there. Bellegarde coming in, you're going to say to him, like if I'm the gaffer, I'm going to say to him, you know what I'm saying? You're stepping in some big boots here. You know what I'm saying? Neto's out, go out there. He hasn't hit the ground running, but we've seen glimpses of his quality. He's a really quality player. I think he's a top tier player. We've needed that. So you'd be giving him you know what I'm saying? You'd be giving him a smack on the back saying, go out there, go and show your worth, go and hit the ground running because I think he needs a good clean run. He hasn't come into like I said, we've seen glimpses of his quality, but he hasn't come into that full good run of his quality. Doyle, I flipping love him. Again, we've been seeing glimpses of him. He's coming on towards the end and stuff like that. Come on that sub appearance. Was it the City game? Come on the sub appearance, played quality, showed his quality. I think he's a top tier player again. So again, if it's not a close game, I think Wolves should go out there and try and score some goals, install some confidence, and you know what? Why not go for a 3-0?
Wolves have lost once in the last 6 against Sheffield United, Jordan, and that was in the pandemic season. John Egan with a late injury time winner, which really frustrated me at the time. We had to cut a little bit of our episode out because there was too many Fs and lots of expletives towards Nuno Santo on that day. One player I'm interested in is McAtee playing in your sort of front three tomorrow because we were linked to him during the Mateus Nunes transfer to Man City deal. What have you made to him so far?
No, he's amazing, and for the first half of last season, he really struggled. Like he hadn't played many men's first team football. But under Heckingbottom, he gave him that freedom of look, you've got the ability, start carrying the ball, start doing things like off the cuff, and that's what McAtee can bring. He can create something out of nothing. So I think he's always a threat. And like I've said, we've lost our stability of a back five, but it does give us that opportunity to put in the likes of McAtee and Hamer and Cameron Archer, where, to be fair, all three of those players are dangerous and they have got quality going forwards. But especially McAtee, like again, his ball carrying, his dribbling, it creates problems for the defence.
Of looking at that sort of back four for you there, and it's like you said, it is really on sort of it's on a tightrope, isn't it? I think is that Jack
Yeah.
Robinson playing centre back.
Yeah, Jack Robinson, and don't get me wrong, he's that old fashioned centre half where he goes in for some like hard tackles.
He used to play for Wolves about probably like 10 years ago now.
Yeah,
We got him on loan from Liverpool, and he was a tidy left back. Wasn't afraid to throw a challenge in, but he was never going to be a Premier League centre back in my eyes.
No, and he's always prone to a mistake, and you can never, as a United fan, you're never confident or comfortable with him on the ball. And if he's playing, you're always thinking he's got a mistake in him. And Trusty, we've not seen much of him because we signed him from Arsenal, but again, hadn't really played. The problem is with our back four, we've got Luke Thomas who's played a lot of Premier League minutes with Leicester, but Trusty and Robinson, Trusty hasn't played any Premier League minutes. Robinson, I don't know if he's at that level. He's passionate. He puts in a good tackle, but he's always prone to a mistake. But to be fair on Bogle, he's a threat going forwards. Defensive capabilities probably lacking. He's definitely one of those modern day fullbacks where they're very good at attacking, but surprisingly as a defender, they do struggle a bit. So yeah, I do think there's definitely goals available for Wolves tomorrow.
Like that is going to be an interesting wing on that pitch tomorrow. I really, really like Gustavo Hamer. He signed from Coventry. Reminds me a bit of myself. Small, diminutive, very quick. Can find a pass, and he's got a decent eye for a goal. I don't think he was overly expensive, was he?
No, I think just over like 10 million, which was probably one of our biggest signings of the season. But yeah, it was a good buy, to be fair, because I think we sold Sander Berg for around 18 million. And to be fair, even though again we've not been getting the results, he has been one of our positives of the season. He's a very good signing. So yeah, he scored a couple of long range goals as well. So he is a player like McAtee where he can create something out of nothing. So I've been really impressed with Hamer.
Yeah, that front three for you, it has got potential to cause us troubles tomorrow. Obviously, we'll be playing a back five. We suspect Nelson Semedo, Kilman, Dawson, Totti, and Ryan Ait-Nouri. One player that does concern me is Cameron Archer, lively, eye for goal, and obviously he's got that Villa connection. So, what do you think to Cameron Archer, Jordan?
Yeah, again, he's dangerous. And I know it sounds stupid to say, but there's some players where no matter if they're in the game or not, when they get on the ball, they just look dangerous. And I think that's the same with Cameron Archer. Like, because don't get me wrong, we don't have much possession of the ball in games. So when we do have it, we need players that look dangerous or worry defenders. And to be fair, I think those three players, they do worry defenders. They might not get the ball much, but when they do get it, they look to make something happen. And I think, don't get me wrong, Wolves will have more chances, they'll have more possession, and they'll have more touches in our final third. But we need these three players tomorrow up front, the likes of Cameron Archer, to just to be dangerous when they get the ball, and try and make something happen when we do have it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that front three comes up against the likes of sort of Craig Dawson, Cameron Archer, Reepa. Obviously, used to play for Villa, really lively striker. He's going to be a threat tomorrow.
Yeah, I think he will be, to be fair. Like Jordan said, he's one of those players, even if he's not in the game, like he can get the ball and do a bit of damage. But I think we can shut that down. I think there's a bit of cohesion now at the back with Wolves. Obviously, we've got our set lineup, which is something we've struggled to do in the past few seasons. But I think like we've got the chemistry at the back now. We've got like I said, good cohesion. So that can easily be organised and shut out, you know what I'm saying? But you don't want to write off Sheffield and you don't want to write off someone that's hungry, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't kick a dog when he's down, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can, but the dog could still bite, you know what I'm saying? So we've got to be careful, like you said, with Archer and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I think we've got the ability and confidence there in that back three to shut it down, man.
Yeah, there is that old classic thing of Wolves being historically giving to teams who are a bit lacking in form. Peter Yam 54 as commented saying times over the years been up against sides like have been on a poor foot and we slip up like a banana skin. So there is a possibility. Thanks to Geordie who joined us last week for the Wolves Newcastle preview. He's back again saying how are the lads, saying come on lads, you will win this with big margin and go above small clubs like Chelsea and Man United. We easily beat Sheffield United by 8 goals. I'll take a 1-0 all day. It could be a flipping Jack Robinson own goal. If we win tomorrow, I'll take it no matter which way it ends up. And Sean Crow's commented, if we scored 8, I'd happily do some unspeakable things. Well said, Sean. Reepa, what's your score prediction for tomorrow's game between Sheffield United and Wolves?
I'm going to be confident and say 3-0. I think we should go out there. I think we should go out there and just, you know what I'm saying, like I said, use this as an opportunity to sort of flex our muscles a bit, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't want to write Sheffield off, so I'm not going to go for an 8-0 or nothing like that. But I do think Wolves have got the ability to go out there and do some damage and install some confidence in the team. I know Neto's not available, but there's no reason why with the current squad we've got, with the current chemistry we've got, the confidence is there. And obviously, like, we've had some bad decisions against us, so we need to prove the world wrong and just say, you know what, we're here to stay. We had a bad season last season, but, you know what I'm saying, we're making moves now. So, yeah, man, I think I'm going to go for a 3-0. Why not?
Yeah, that would hopefully take Wolves into the top half this weekend. Jordan, would you take a draw tomorrow? Is it all about just building blocks this season now, or is it literally a win? How much sort of time? I mean, let's put a married at first sight spin on it. You always hear the experts say you got to trust the process and whatnot. How much sort of trust has Paul Eckeybottom still got? How much more games has he still got in the general scheme? Because I know you said you backed him earlier, but there's only so many games you can go about picking up points before you have to try something new.
Yeah, well, so what's weird is that they gave Paul Heckingbottom a 7-year contract like 2 seasons ago, and everyone was like, a 7-year contract? It was pretty mad. But I think with the way, I think we've got to look at the games against Luton. We've got to play Luton twice still. We've got to play Burnley twice still. We've got to play Bournemouth twice still. And then there's these games tomorrow where the likes of, I don't know, other than the top 6, you've got to look at maybe taking a draw or a couple of draws and out of those games. I don't know. I know this is going to sound stupid, but I just think with the way the club's being run at the moment, I don't even know if I would sack Heckingbottom, even if we get a ridiculous low point tally, because I don't know who's going to come in and give these group of players a way to play that is going to pick up enough points to stay up. And I just think that Heckingbottom knows how the club is being ran, and it's not very well, but at least he knows. And I know it sounds stupid, but he knows the place. He knows how it is run, and I think that he's that manager that the players will still fight for. Whether they've got the quality to stay up, probably not at the moment. It looks like, but he is that kind of manager where the players won't give up. And I worry if someone else does come in, and I think we still would go down. I worry that they wouldn't be fighting for the manager the same way that these players will. If I have to predict on tomorrow, if I'm predicting with my head, I'd probably say you'd look at giving a Wolves win, maybe like a 2-1 or a 3-1. But I do think that we can pick a result tomorrow. We've been in a lot of games, and we've even against Man City, we was drawing against Man City up until the 87th minute, and lost 2-1. But I'm going to say tomorrow maybe a 1-1 or a 2-2. Tomorrow.
Peter Yam 54 has agreed with you, and he's gone for a 1-1. He mentioned that Wolves are likely to, fall to the classic banana skin tomorrow. I'm going to go with 2-1 Wolves win tomorrow. I think Sheffield United, like I looked at that team, I looked at your injury list. I feel like if we can't get a win tomorrow, it's been through our own wrongdoing. I feel like we've got some quality players that should be putting the blades to the sword tomorrow, if you will. So I'm going to say thank you, Jordan and Reepa, for coming on tonight. Reepa, tell the people about what's going on with you at the moment.
A lot coming up, to be fair. Musically, going to start releasing again in January. December the 1st, we've got an event in Birmingham Prism. If you want to get down to there, Ashley Walters from Top Boy.
Yeah, let me show the viewers a little bit about that, Reepa.
Ride or die, man, I ride to the death. Hyper guy could have hyped to the best. Mortal combat, put a knife in your chest. I'm batting elbow to the head. Baby MCs get sent to your bed. Rated MCs, I'm one of the best. But for your manner, make a man para. Prove time that I'm the true dandada.
Yeah, man. So that's me outside Dixie's. I'm enjoying some chicken wings, man. You know what I'm saying? Good old Dixie's. Can't go wrong, man, except for the day after. But December the 1st, Prison Birmingham. We've got Ashley Walters coming down, part of the Top Boy cast. On top of that, we've got Romeo from Soul Solid, and a lot more of the Soul Solid crew and Heartless crew coming down. So it's going to be a good garage night, to be fair. So if you're into your old school garage, grime and stuff like that, or you're into Top Boy, get down. You can have a meet and greet with Ashley Walters. Some of you might know him as Deshane, Asher D from back in the day, from Soul Solid crew. But yeah, man, it's going to be a good night, to be fair. I'm performing there. And then apart from that, tonight, just after this podcast, we're going to go live with Reepa. So yeah, I'm going to post the phone number and just give me a call. You can talk whatever you want to talk. The number's going to go live on my social media at 7:00, and just give me a ring. I'll answer the phone and we can have a good chat. And that's all it's about, really. You know what I'm saying? Being there, being available for anybody to just have a call. We can talk music, we can talk boxing, we can talk football, family, health, fitness, you know what I'm saying? Anything you're into, man. So it's just a little thing where being able to connect with the guys who listen to me or guys who don't listen to me, someone who needs a chat, just give me a ring, man. I'll post a number live at 7. Look for it on my social media at R3EPA and give me a call, ring Reepa.
Simple as that. Follow my man Reepa. Obviously, still enjoying the music. Obviously, that Prism little set with Ashley Walls. He probably won't want to be called a national treasure, but you look at his sort of catalogue of work that he's done, music and acting. He's up there with some of the greats. Jordan, where can the people who aren't aware of Married at First Sight find you on maybe Instagram or on telly?
Yeah, like if you search Jordan Gayle, you'll find me on Instagram or TikTok, or Jordan RM Gayle. And you'll see at the moment there's a lot of back and forth between me and Luke, another contestant on there, who is a West Ham fan. Obviously, we had a fight on the show, and he keeps talking about doing this boxing match if he's brave enough. So it will reignite the Sheffield United West Ham rivalry from all those years ago when they cheated us and got us relegated with Carlos Tevez. So yeah, like there's a lot of back and forth between me and him, and there's the last few episodes coming out soon on E4 at 9:00. 2 more weeks left of filming. I find myself in a lot of trouble sometimes, and Luke's releasing a lot of like fake articles about me and stuff. So unfortunately, all over the press at the moment for the wrong reasons. But yeah. It's getting a bit vicious on social media at the moment with me and him because he's releasing articles that are completely fake. So no one really likes West Ham fans, and he's definitely no exception.
How have you found the obviously the coverage that comes with being on a sort of a mainstream show like Married, and the sort of the social media love and hate that you receive on the daily?
Oh, it's crazy. It's so frustrating because at the moment I can't talk about the full experience because when you marry someone on the show, you've got to deal with your emotions, but also the hate they get, and that's the really difficult part because it's so edited the show, but people don't see that or they don't realize that, and people are basing such strong opinions of you based on this edited version of you, and it's not necessarily the case. So we're like the villains of the series, but that's the way the show wanted to edit it, and to hear people with opinions that they think are facts, but they have no idea what's going on. It is tough because it affects people around you, and that's what's the toughest part for me. I can take all the heat and I don't care. I actually quite like being hated, like and I always get called Jack Grealish lookalike, but Jack Grealish would go to most grounds in England and he'd be booed and hated for no reason. I kind of like that. I kind of like that. The I don't really care what people think, but when you see it hurting and affecting the people that you do care about, your loved ones and stuff, that's where it gets hard, to be fair.
That's it. You got to thrive on it, but not push it to the point where it becomes a shadow of your real self. So yeah. all I'm going to say is I hope the rest of the filming goes well, and whatever your situation is with Eric ends up a happy one for the both of you, because you might be the villains of the series, but as long as you're a hero in your own art, no one else can say anything about that, can the Reepa?
Man, big up, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Like I say, haters are gonna hate, and you're right in terms of obviously like all the press and stuff like that. I think it's 48 Laws of Power, rule number 6: court attention at all costs, and even like the bad attention, like the bad press and stuff like that. Look at Kanye West, one of the most powerful and most influential artists in the world, and Adidas have had to call him back because they're losing sales without him, and he's public enemy number one. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
being in the media limelight, you're gonna get that. But again, it sounds very vain to say, but all attention's good attention when you're in sort of the when you're in the what's the word when you're in Hollywood, let's call it. When you're in Hollywood, all attention's good attention. You know what I'm saying? You use it to advantage. Said you got to be for the bit of beef for the boy on there. You know what I'm saying? That's Misfits at the end of this show. You know what I'm saying? Get yourself on Misfits. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
you make it what you want. You're in control.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, use this show to propel yourself. So you've got a bit of beef on there. On the phone to Misfits straight after. You've got a boxing match. You know what I'm saying? And some Wanga. Why not?
Well, that's what's happening. And there's plenty of it's going to a real nasty place. Like, he wants to bring my missus into it and accuse me of falsely accuse me of cheating and stuff. And like, you know what I mean? Like, he's crossed the line. So like you said, it's gonna happen, and I'm gonna make him pay for it because there's lines to it, and he's bringing family and the missus into it. So he's gonna pay for it, and I'll get paid for it as well. So it'll be good.
This is why the Wolves Fancast is the longest running, award-winning Wolves channel out there on podcasts and social media. We bring you everything: football, boxing, reality TV. Keep following us at Wolves Fancast, a part of the Auddy podcast network with our main sponsors, the Bostin Coffee vending company. We'll be back on Sunday, hopefully with a good result, talking about Wolves' hopeful win over Sheffield United. Thanks to Jordan. Thanks to Reepa. Have a good weekend. We'll catch you soon.